Hello,
Got it.
everyone. My name is Julie, and I'm here with Rick Wick.
Yes,
Um, Thank you, Rick, for being here with me. I know
it's a
it's a
pleasure.
little bit late over there in Norway,
Not
so
too late.
not too bad. Um, so thank you so much, yeah, for hanging out with me. I'm really excited to hear about your experiences because I know you've had a lot. But before we get into that, can you just share maybe a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much just grew up in Norway, and I've always kind of been interested in dreams, and like I've had some dreams that were cool, so it was something I focused on, and I got into something called mindfulness. It's a
Mhm.
sort of meditation where you just sit and relax. And then I got further into lucid dreaming. And the advantage was that when you know how to stay conscious and relax, which is what mindfulness does, you just stay conscious, you don't think anything. It's actually kind of it's
Mm,
easier. It's not easy, but it's easier to go into the like the lucid, wake. You're awake and then you fall asleep awake. I think it's called the wild technique,
mhm.
wake induced lucid dreaming. And from lucid dreaming, I got into like I noticed there was something there. At first, I just was so impressed by how vast it was. I could walk around in like I'm in a lucid dream better explorer, so I would run around in a school building, and I was just okay. Well, is there anything if I go into this room? It's like, oh my god, there's a classroom here. Let's look outside the window. Oh my god, there's a city outside. So it's just I was taken back by how vast it was. And then I started, of course, watching movies like Inception,
Mhm.
which introduced the concept of going deeper. So
Right.
at this time, I had a disc in my back that had an injury, so it was pain running into my leg.
Mm.
So I don't know if that had any effect, but I couldn't do much else. So I just yeah, I was in bed a lot of the time, and it probably helped, I guess. Because when I would dream, I would be like, "Oh my God, I'm lucid. Better go deeper. Better go deeper." And then I also saw this other movie called Waking Life,
Mhm.
and which further inspired me. That movie is,
Animated? Is
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
animated one? Yeah.
yeah. Waking Life. It's a super complex movie. You have to see it like 4 times to get
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
only watched it once and I still
yeah,
there's so much I don't get.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's this. Yeah, do you remember the scene where when he meets the girl with the curly red hair?
Mhm.
Yeah, that one is like, oh my God, I've never asked anybody in a dream what it's like to be a person
Yeah.
living in a dream.
Yeah, that
So
was
then it
cool.
became, yeah. So that kind of got me going, and like, oh, I gotta get these people in these dreams I'm having and ask them these questions.
Yes.
It's always me, but let's say, what's up with them? What are they doing?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and it was actually much later I found out about the astral projection. For a while, I was more exploring. I knew there were different realms because I did some psychedelics in Amsterdam, totally legal, of course. That's what we do here. That's what we have to do if we're going to follow the law. We have to travel abroad.
Hmm.
So you can take a weekend in Amsterdam, get yourself some. In my case, you can get some psilocybin mushrooms.
Right.
And but what's special about this, and this is also a common experience, that if you go to Peru and you ask the shamans in Mexico, Peru, Amazon, they'll be like, yeah, that happens. You'll fall asleep, you'll have a dream, and in the middle of the dream, you'll find a psychedelic in the dream, like a psychedelic mushroom, and
Oh.
you'll eat it, and all of a sudden you'll be in that place in the dream. So I knew that there were different realms. So when I heard about astral projecting and the astral realm, I was like, okay, that's highly likely. That's believable. Totally, I can totally see that happening. So that kind of was way easier for me to get into then, because a couple of
Uh-huh.
years back I was like hardline atheist, and
Okay.
that, yeah.
Wait,
So
so only a couple
it's
years back. When did you have your first experience? When did you start your first, you said lucid dreaming was the first thing that you
mm,
started. How old were you?
uh well, I've always kind of wanted, like, since I was a child, it's when, like, I noticed I was dreaming. I had this awesome dream tonight, and I noticed I was dreaming. I did all these superhero power stuff that I think a lot of people do when they discover they're lucid. And but the idea
Yes.
of actually controlling it, and going at it with a purpose didn't appear to me before I started studying psychology.
Oh,
And
okay.
but I was kind of a skeptic in terms of some of the, the new age movements and their theories and,
Right.
and stuff like that. But like lucid dreaming, I knew that that's possible. So that was
Because
kind of
you
like
were
the
doing
easy
it,
end.
you had been having lucid dreams for so long,
Yeah,
so you knew you
so
experienced it. Yeah.
so it was like it was a very nice slope into
Yes.
uh into
Yes.
it.
I imagine a lot of kids have lucid dreams and maybe they kind of grow out of it.
Mm.
But it sounds like you held on to it and kept it up over the years.
Yeah, well, it's like the dream experience is so devalued by society, adult life, that it's
Yes.
like there are places, I've had experiences like don't talk about that, and this
Even
this
dreams,
is fan.
just dream life.
Yeah,
Don't talk about it. Okay.
yeah, it's not really, it's not like very like in your face, but it's like, oh no, he's talking about dreams. It's like you should be talking about your life, and the work that you do and the things
Right.
that
Yeah.
define you, like your car and your house and your belongings, and your
Right.
prospects of getting even more stuff. So
That's funny how you put that. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, okay,
So
so you had lucid dreaming. You at some point you realized, oh, I can control these dreams. About what age was that you started controlling your dreams?
the thing was that it's never there's always, for me at least, there's always a element of chance. I don't hit it off every single night.
Mm,
Some nights I have lucid dreams. Some night, but like if we're talking a experience that's like, okay, this was very strange. This is out of body or something. I'm in my apartment, that would be like once a year if I'm lucky.
okay.
While maybe if I go lucid in a dream, you see, I have this list here where well, what was the question again? I have to actually answer the
Yeah,
question.
no, I think you were
So
going to maybe get into the categories that you had shared
yeah.
with me. And
Mm,
that sounds very interesting, but I was kind of just curious on the progression. So you lucid dreaming was a normal thing for you as a child.
yeah,
Um,
lucid dreaming came first,
and
but
then when did you, and I'm assuming these were really vivid,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
colorful, all of that, and you knew
Mm,
you were dreaming, but when did you start realizing, oh, I can control this
mm.
dream? Did that come
Uh,
right away?
well, it's not it's kind of like it comes on its own, because you have your own space, and it's like, look, I need to I want to do this, right? And like you have these posts on certain groups, it's like, is it possible to meet dead people, and
Hmm.
like when you astral project and stuff like that.
Right.
So like there's always something that guides behavior. In terms of like one goal I had for time, I saw the movie Inception, and it
Right.
was just the sentence of we need to go deeper. We need
And
to go
that
deeper.
just resonated with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when I was in the lucid dream, it's like, oh shit, I need to go deeper. I need to go deeper.
Okay.
So I would do that, and like as I got, I don't know if that had any effect, but it felt like that was like
Right.
that's sort of a way to control the dream, though, that you decide to do something and then you actually do it. You end up in a
Yes.
different place.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah.
Well, do you want to share a few of your experiences or maybe share kind of how you categorize the things like you were telling
Yeah,
me?
I think
earlier.
it's nice for the listeners to have like
Yes,
how I
yes,
define it, because there's
absolutely.
people have their own definitions. So you have the normal dreams like losing your teeth, being naked in the classroom, being followed by somebody, falling off a building. That's kind of like not much of a choice in that. And then you have lucid dreams, it's like I'm being chased by somebody. It's like, oh, wait a moment, I have superpowers. Or it's like, oh, I'm dreaming. I should be flying right now because I love flying when I'm dreaming. So that would be lucid dreams. And then the way I got into like the astral thing was while lucid, I would be like, look, I should meditate because I'll get like moksha. So I would sit down, I would meditate, and it worked.
In
I
your
was
lucid dream, now I've heard of this before. So in
mm,
your lucid dream,
yeah,
you sit down and start meditating to
yeah.
have an astral or out of body experience.
Yes, yes. So what I did was that this has happened to me very recently twice. First example is I was at a vacation house by the beach. I meet the guy by the door and I tell him something like, I'm a little grumpy today. You know how it's like. And I just pass him by and he nods to me and I sit down at the beach. And then I sit down in like lotus position. And I close my eyes and just, and I'm just in this other place that is completely different than a dream realm.
Does it
It's,
happen that quickly for you? Like as soon as you go into
yeah,
meditation?
it was like jumping into water. It sounded
Wow.
like
Okay.
jumping into water.
Okay.
So the other time I did it, it was actually a failed attempt. I just got to the vibrational stage, but I was dreaming, and I looked at the mountains, and I realized that I'm alone, and there's like, oh, I want to travel to this person, and so I did this yogic technique, which is called mantra, but I just say their name, you know. So I would keep on repeating it again and again, and suddenly I would wake up in bed and I would be like vibrating. But that's kind of like tricky to do because when you do it, in my case, I did not notice my breathing. The vibration was quite heavy, and there's this thing called hypnagogic hallucinations. And it wasn't really scary because I don't want to give out scary tales that are gonna mess up people's astral travel here, but it was like this it was like unexpected,
Mhm.
and I didn't relax and I sort of lost it after a while.
So this
So that was
was, if I can back up a little bit, you were in a lucid dream and you
Mhm.
wanted to see somebody, you wanted to astral
Yeah.
travel to somebody and you kept repeating their name. Then
Mm.
you found yourself back in bed with vibrations. Is that how it went?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you started getting
And
the images and you weren't able to
mm.
go out of body at that
and
time. Okay.
yeah, but I could tell from the images that I was going out of my body because there were like like that. So
Yes.
it was trying to guide me, but I messed it up. I have to try again later.
That's
But
okay.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
Um, okay, cool. So that's out of body. Well, you separated out of body and astral projection. What's the difference
yeah.
between those for you?
Well, if I think out of body, I think I'm in the apartment where I wake up where I'm sleeping. This happened to me the year I had a leg injury where I was in bed a lot. I was like, oh, it's so boring. I
Mm.
wouldn't just leave this body. And I woke like it was I fell asleep and I at first I thought I was awake, but then I realized I'm kind of I'm in some kind of weird other thing, and I saw the because I was my bed was next to the wall. This was a student apartment, so I would start clawing my way out of the body
Oh,
to get out of the
instead
body.
of the rope technique, you're climbing up the wall.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
was just like, get out of here. And I was in the actual place, just out of the body. But
Mhm.
I also after a while I fell back into the dream state because
Mhm.
as I was about to leave, I went through the door, and on the other side there was all of a sudden a stand with brochures for travel. I was like, oh yeah, brochures for travel. Yeah, I should
Where
look
do you
at
want to
that.
go?
So yeah, and then I just would fly away, and I would fly away into a dream, but it was very, it had like more elements of the astral realm, and yeah, it's kind of like there's more light and darkness there. So people will have translucent skin and be made out of light, and there will be like oceans that are floating with the glowing texts that are kind of like glyphs or something like that.
And those you categorize as the astral projection.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be like yeah, yeah.
So
So
something, I don't want to interrupt if you're going to
mm,
continue. I had a question that
yeah,
was curious, that I've heard before, that when you go out of body, you can sometimes slip back into a dream. Even if your
yeah,
intention is to go in astral project, you can slip back into a dream
yeah.
the other way,
Like
right?
I've done that at the vibrational stage, and it was very fascinating because
Mm-hmm.
I could actually see the dream approaching from here
Oh,
as
cool.
a yeah, it was almost like a screen with black and white. And at first it's like I don't see what's going on, but then it comes and it lights up and I'm suddenly there.
Oh,
So
how cool. Okay.
but before I was here, easy trick is just to when you wake up, get into the habit of not opening your eyes and see what's behind your, just get
Hmm.
like maybe there's something, maybe there's a little residue behind your
Oh, that's a
eyes
good
as you wake up. Yeah.
suggestion. Thank you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that.
So yeah, and that's also going to condition you that if you like wake up like halfway and you're in a vibrate, you can easily get to the vibrational stage because like your
Right.
habit is to keep your eyes shut.
Right.
So
One of my most difficult um, reasons for waking up fully rather than just staying still is I usually feel achy and I want to turn over or move.
yeah,
It's like my head's in the wrong. I just this morning I was in a vibrational state, and but my head was like in a awkward position, and I was just like, I'm not going to be able to do this. And I moved my head. I'm like, maybe I can get it back. And I moved my head and I tried to get it back and I couldn't get it back. I'm like,
yeah.
ah, darn it.
Another common thing is that you'll get very close, and then you'll be so happy that you're getting close that you'll get excited, and then it also goes away.
Very true. Okay,
So
so yes, please continue with, well, did you want to share more about them when you had the brochures? That's so funny that you have, where would you like
yeah,
to
look,
travel
that's
to?
one of my favorite dreams. One of my favorite dreams. I get the brochures, right? And then I leave my room, and now I'm like, I'm not. I'm in some other. Now I'm in kind of like fairy tale dreamscape,
Hmm.
and I'm out on the. I'm in a castle, and it has like one of those big balconies, and all of a sudden I grow wings and I just take off.
Wow.
And
Okay.
at this point, it's very fairy tale like, but then it all goes dark, and I go into this place that's like it's dark, and but there's a river, but the river is like made out of almost the matrix text, and it's
Oh,
yellow, and it's coming at me like this. And I stop by these statues of men like this, and I'm asking them for directions, and they say, hey, you should go over there. And so I go through that, and I come into a different dream, which is like this Mediterranean city with brick houses. And I go through the city. It's a very nice city, but I know I have a mission because I'm supposed to meet somebody there. And I go to this fountain in the middle of the city, and I see the person, and I give them a hug, and they turn into dirt, essentially. They turn into earth and mold. So I just put that in a bag, and I'm like, oh no, this is very unfortunate. And then I meet a friend of mine from school, and I ask him, how do I wake her back to life? And he says, you have to sing her song. and then I just wake up again. And I was like,
Oh, wow, that's
oh yeah,
cool. Was that pretty vivid? How was your
oh
clarity?
yeah.
And
You know, when you're lucid, one of the important things to do is that not get too whimsical. And there were definitely times where I had to like do stuff to not get too whimsical, because if you do that, the dream will take over and you'll just get along. You'll just go along with everything instead of doing what you.
exactly. So
So,
what are the techniques you use to not go to that
well,
whimsical side?
in this case, it was just focusing on my mission, because I was like,
Oh,
I'm at the time, I was like, I miss this person. I want to meet this person. So now I'm dreaming. I'm gonna meet that person. I'm gonna fly.
okay.
And it was also because I had the experience of crawling out of my body in the beginning. So I was very convinced it was actually doable. So I had a lot of good, I had a lot of things were working in my favor. So I managed to pull through. And there was actually a critical moment where there was this other girl, and she went into one of the apartment buildings. And I'm like, hey, you come back here. And I go into the apartment after her, and she's in the upper stairs. And I'm like, oh no, no, I'm not supposed to be doing this. And then I go back out again.
Oh,
And so I was
okay.
getting a little, yeah, I had a little,
Distracted. Y-
yeah,
That's interesting. So if it's for you, and so this might be helpful for other
mm,
travelers. So when we get distracted on our intention, our intent, then that's when we
yeah,
can kind of get off track and it'll
yeah,
have more
yeah.
control over us than we have control over it.
And there's like when you see someone in like a dream state, it's also it's not just that you're seeing them, but it's like you get this, oh yeah, I know why I'm seeing you, we're supposed to play hide and seek or something like that. And you have to
Oh,
just be like, no, 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 and break out of it, try to.
and then so and you also talked about, well, where you when you wrote, you said then you also categorize psychedelic dreams from
Yeah,
astral projection and then reality shifts. And I haven't
yeah.
heard of those
Well, reality
categories.
shift is, yeah. So there's this culture in the Amazon called the Shipibo tribe, who are the ones who serve the jungle wine brew, the ayahuasca, which is slow acting dimethyltryptamine. A lot of people go there to get healing from drug habits that are unhealthy.
What's the name of
Uh,
what's the location?
and the Shipibos they are
Shipibos.
in Peru and Amazonas, and I think they also have places in Mexico where it's the same people who do this.
Okay.
But Mexico is it's more Native American, I think. There they do, but it's the same. You'll meet like they'll have a little Shipibo shaman there as well. I think very many times, and yeah, so with them so we have all these reports of people having the same experiences now, and it seems that it's a very common thing that after you've taken a psychedelic, you can enter into the psychedelic space with all the psychedelic imagery
Mm.
in a dream, and essentially just have the same experience. This has happened to me. I took some psilocybin mushrooms in Amsterdam, very legal, very, very, just travel down there. You can do it legally. And, at the time when I had the experience, I closed my eyes and I see this wonderful thing just open up, this fractal made of
Mm.
lightning, and it was green. And for some reason, my reaction was just like, oh, holy, oh, ah, ah! that was my reaction. And I would go on and off just trying to, like that. And
And in those, now you're getting excited during these experiences, and those don't pull you out of it like it
mm,
would at maybe an astral projection or out of body,
yeah.
right?
Well, I would say that the albino penis envy, because that's the one I got experience with. uh, that brought me to the vibrational stage, and I could actually feel the pull up here, just
Wow.
trying to pull me out. So that one did that. It did that, and so
Interesting.
that's some. But was it pulling me into astral projection? Was it pulling
Mm.
me into out of body? Was it pulling me out of was it pulling me into a psychedelic space or something like that? I don't know because I chickened out. So, but I actually I regret that a lot because I would have, if I didn't have a trip sitter, I was all alone. But if I had a trip sitter, I would have just, hey, I'm just going to leave my body. So you just take care. I'm breathing
So for
because
those who don't know what that is, can you explain what a trip sitter is?
yeah, it's the people who take care of you and make sure that essentially because here's how I use it. Okay. In terms of taking magic mushrooms or psilocybin mushrooms, it's if I'm brought out of my body or when I become very vibrational, I don't notice if I'm breathing because it's so much vibration. So it's very nice to like have somebody next to you, like you're still breathing, it's going fine, it's going fine.
You feel
So,
safer. Yeah.
yeah, because if you stopped breathing, they would like give you a nudge or something.
Right.
Yeah, but you won't stop breathing. It just feels like you're stopping to breathe. So
Right.
yeah.
So what is the difference? So psychedelic realms or dreams
Mm.
are related to the reality shifts. Those you are somehow crossed over.
No, there's a reality shift is its own thing. A reality shift
Oh,
is just a name I use when I'm in a place. Like say I fall asleep, because this has happened to me, and this was so strange. I wasn't first it was a dream, and it came like one of those. I do mindfulness, so I can get
mhm.
very relaxed, and because of that, I can enter the dreams through wake-induced lucid dreaming.
Right.
And I saw the dream coming towards me, and I'm like, oh yeah, the dream is coming toward me. And I'm seeing into someone else's living room, and I'm in the living room. And then I'm welcomed by some people, and we do some stuff together. But at the very end of my experience, we had been in a house, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, why is there a cafeteria? Why do they have a cafeteria in their living room in like the first floor? Because people don't have that, It's not normal for us to have that on our first floor, that we just like anybody can come in and grab a cup of coffee. They're even selling ice cream. So I'm like, and as I thought of that, I became lucid. And when I became lucid and aware, I'm like, holy shit, I've got mass. I could feel the weight of my body going into my foot, going into the floor. And as I did that, I look at the door frame because we were walking into this room, and I grabbed the door frame and it's like, oh shit, I can touch it. And I actually, with my face, I wiped my face into the door frame.
Hmm.
And then I look over at the cafeteria, and I see this box that is, it's like the ones you sell ice cream from, the ice cream storage unit. So I run over to it and I just put my finger on it. No, I put
Huh.
my whole hand on it, and it was cold.
Yeah.
There's pressure, there's temperature,
Right.
and everybody's like looking at me. Oh, like, he's feeling it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the hat man came, and from there things just got. He wasn't the scary hat man, but he was like, yeah, I know you're the hat man. And
Okay.
for some reason he asked some weird questions, and every time he asked me a question, I would kind of like lose my lucidity.
Mm.
So eventually I woke up, and when I woke up, and I knew this could happen because this happens with sometimes in psychedelic experiences. My brain is like, no, 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 that didn't happen. Delete, delete, delete. And I'm like, oh, remember, remember, remember. And
Hmm. Right.
well, I promised myself because I was in the dream a long time, but when I woke up, it was like, no, that was just 5 seconds. Yeah, it went by really fast, and I was like, no, 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 and I had to like work with all that thing, whatever kind of mechanism that is. And I promised myself that I would remember that I felt the touch and I felt the cold
Yes.
of that ice cream storage. So that
Right.
I can, so because it's important to know that it's possible, I think. So
Yes, absolutely. Well, so what would you say are the benefits? What are you finding the benefits of these experiences to be for you, for your life?
oh, they're they're the thing is, like, you'll find like all these self-help circles. It's like, yeah, you have to release your needs, you have to let go, you have to forget about that thing you want. But sometimes what you want, the only way you can release need is to actually engage with what you desire.
Mm,
And astral projection, lucid dreaming, sometimes psychedelics can be a gateway for you to solve those issues.
mhm.
And that's really hopeful. That's really hopeful. That's something, yeah, that's good stuff.
Yes,
So I'm happy about
absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that anyone can learn how to do these things? You
Yeah,
know,
but
the
you have to start at a level where you're comfortable. Because like when I was first year in university, if people told me about astral projection, I'd be like, no, 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 that's impossible.
oh,
That's impossible.
they
Yeah,
talked
because it's
about
like,
it. They didn't talk about
No,
that
but
out
not,
here,
no, not really that. But I was
just
like very
generally.
skeptic. Yeah, I was very generally very skeptic. I didn't know much about astral projection, and probably to my benefit. So I didn't have time to build up a history with resistance to the concept. But I knew that dreaming was possible, and I knew lucid
Sure.
dreaming was possible. So it's
Yes.
like, I'll buy that one. I'll buy that one. I'll do that. That's
Yes.
possible.
One
And
step
then
at
I
a
got,
time.
yeah. And then I got into the mindfulness meditation, which kind of allowed me to do the wake induced lucid dreaming, and also with the hypnagogic hallucinations. So it's like, oh shit, this is some powerful
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
Like if you've never experienced hypnagogic hallucinations before, it's like it can be a big thing.
Yeah,
So
it's very real and very beautiful in my
mm,
experience.
yeah.
Um, and oh, sorry. Were you going to say something else? I don't want to interrupt you. I did want to know, other than if you think people can sort of learn this,
Yeah, definitely,
I was going
definitely.
to ask you
But
one
but
other thing.
some
Now I
some
forget what it was.
people some people just have like they have they have a knack for it, and they have better circumstances and stuff.
I remember what
But
I
you
was going to
can,
ask you before
yeah,
I forget, because I didn't write it down. You said you were an atheist 2 years ago,
yeah.
a couple years ago. So that's interesting. So now what would you say you
Now
are
it's like
then?
I'm kind of like I've really looked at my all kinds of religions, because I was searching for a while. And I looked at I actually remember one time I looked at the Quran, but I
Uh-huh.
read it in Norwegian, and I was like, I read the Quran, it's not working for me. So yeah, I'm gonna stop doing that. And then some Muslim guy was like, yeah, no, 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 just read it in Arabic, it'll fix everything. So that was kind of funny.
Okay.
But
So you
but what
believe in
happened?
God now, or you don't
No,
fear, would you say you don't fear death anymore because of these experiences?
yeah, definitely. And it's also that it's like the consciousness, like I realize how vast it is, how big it is. It encompasses everything that you ever experience, and there seems to be even more underneath. And like one of the reasons I kind of didn't one of the reasons I don't focus so much on God is because after looking at all the different religions, it's like, everybody just wants what people really are worshiping is paradise.
Mm,
Everybody wants to get into paradise. And the reason they worship God is because God is going to come down to them and pick them up and put them into paradise,
mhm.
essentially, in some way or form. And it's like, yeah, well, this is kind of not beneficial for me to focus on right now, because there's some work that can be done here. There's some good work to be done. I can do some mindfulness meditation. I try to do like certain other meditations as well, and to control my consciousness. There's something called flotation tanks. I absolutely
Hmm.
recommend those.
Oh,
And
you've
of course, there's the
done one before?
no,
Oh,
no, but I'm starting to see the benefit of sensory deprivation
sure.
through
Yeah.
the mindfulness, and accessing these states between dreams and sleep. And also with the psychedelics, there are these there you can enter this way of being where you're just pure consciousness, and that's also very interesting. Yeah.
Wonderful experiences. Man, lots of the variety I feel like that
Yeah.
you've been through.
But I feel it's all connected. It's like a
Mhm.
if it's like everything keeps building against this, it's building upwards towards the same goal. Because in the end, people just they want a good experience. They want love. They want paradise, and
Yeah,
it's not that hard. It's nobody walking around like, yeah, actually I'll take hell. Eternal torture and all that stuff. It's
exactly.
yeah.
So we are running out of time here very quickly. So before we have to shut down and close out, is there anything else you wanted to share that you feel like you really want to share before we have to leave?
Let me see. Uh,
Just don't want to
well,
cut you off before you're like, oh, I needed to talk about that.
yeah. Well, actually, I think we've been through it all. Let's just check with the list.
Oh, one other thing
Yeah.
too is any projects that you might be working on that you wanted to talk about. That too, I want to leave. I forgot to ask you that before we started, but if there's anything, and if you're working on anything, I can put it in the links in the
Yeah.
YouTube section. Oh,
Well,
the
I
pictures
have,
too. You
yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
that.
I do have, I have made some pictures of my experiences. Not all of them are astral projections. Some of them are remote viewing, which is this
Oh,
thing.
right.
Yeah,
Cool.
remote viewing. We haven't talked about that one.
No, we forgot to
Uh,
talk about that one.
like when it comes to the legitimacy of this, like I don't want to, I'm not so interested in getting to the science. I think people have to check that out for themselves,
Hmm.
because this is way easier to prove through subjective experience than if like 30 people are gonna all get together and have an astral projection the same night. Everybody does it right. It's gonna be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Uh, so remote viewing is when you relax, you start getting kind of like, behind your eyelids, it's not always entirely black. It's usually a little, movements.
Hmm.
If you open your eyes, you can see these wiggly lines when you look at the sun, but those are just dust inside your eyeballs. But if you close your eyes, you can see like the light that you just looked at dimming,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
sometimes they take on shapes that's in the early stages, and sometimes it just opens up and you can just see, and it's kind of like the dreams when you look into the dreams. But this one is like, you're not as relaxed, you don't get pulled into it, you don't get whimsical, and you can also have it like low key, and like just meditate a little, and you can like, oh, I can kind of make out that I'm
An
looking
image.
into some. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And there's also one of the techniques I use, and this I don't know what this is, but I was taught this actually by, of all things, a entity I encountered while taking toadstool mushrooms.
Wow.
And he said, "Look, you're what." First, we meditated and taught me some meditation, and essentially the meditation was just to do like this, and in front of you like this, and down here, and then just keep perfect alignment so that you can feel the point of balance. Like, I think people call it the crown chakra, but it's like
Hmm.
it's on top of the spine, so you can actually feel this point, because this point is always doing like this. And if you can keep it still, and you can keep the like everything from here to here, then it feels really good. Then it's I don't know, there's some kind of healing stuff with that.
Mm,
And
okay.
afterwards he said, okay, now I just want you to look directly ahead. And I closed my eyes. This was later though, and I would look straight forward. And as I looked forward, an image would just flash briefly in front of me
Uh-huh.
if I did mindful. So it's really simple. Just lay down flat on your bed, breathe down into your stomach, and close your eyes and look directly in front, but don't move your eyes. And it just comes up
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
So that works for me. I don't know if it's going to
So
work for
you are
anyone
an
else.
artist. I don't know if we mentioned that. You are an
Mm,
artist and you have some images you create online of some of the places that you've seen through
yeah.
remote viewing and your astral travels.
Yeah, it's a little bit,
That's
it's a mixed bag. It's just like, oh,
okay.
that was a cool experience, and then I'll draw it.
All right. That's you don't have
So
those on like a website or anywhere.
no, not really, not really. But I can
Okay.
send you those and you can
Yeah,
add
send
them
me
to a
some.
link. Yeah.
So cool. Thank you so much for spending time with me and sharing these experiences. I find it so fascinating. I love this. I love these
Yeah.
conversations. So I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.